Hey guys, it's Panda Thug, aka Nevermore here, talking about Heroes of the Storm's Azmodan rework on the PTS. I've been trying to get this video out for days, but it's finally here. I have some points I want to address on this rework, and before I voice my opinion, I want it known that I love Azmodan. He's my second highest leveled hero at 61, and the only specialist I really love. I think this rework was headed in the right direction. It does a lot of things right, but it missed the mark on some others, for the sake of balancing him out. First, let's talk base kit Asmo on the PTS. His HP is lower. He has a stacking quest baseline now that is easier to stack than both Sieging Wrath and Taste for Blood. It gives his globe less damage than Taste for Blood, and his base range with globe is less than on live, and much, much less than Sieging Wrath. Globe is now telegraphed in advance at longer ranges, and while they upped the cast speed baseline, it's not the 40% cast speed you got at level 7, and they did not adjust his globe's travel time, making it really easy to dodge at far distances. All Shall Burn has a channel time now, so instead of lasering forever, you do so for a set time, and if you finish, it bursts for additional damage. General of Hell and warriors can be summoned while channeling All Shall Burn, and you have one less charge of warriors, and General of Hell is a dumpster fire now. And his Blackpool Ultimate's replacement, Titus Sin, got the General of Hell treatment, so right onto the heat with it as well. I'll talk about that later on. So that is the information we need to be aware of while we talk about my main points here. Number 1, Gluttony versus Wrath. Because greed is worthless, we aren't going to talk about greed. Blizzard likes placing PvE talents next to PvP talents for some reason, when the argument shouldn't be PvE versus PvP, but playstyle versus playstyle. So in the Azmodan talents for Globe, we see two playstyles emerging: long-range dunk and mid-range auto. Mid-range auto build, as you might guess, has much, much more damage, which makes sense because you're putting yourself in danger to achieve that damage. But since it's mid-range, and you're probably near enough to the target to follow up with an auto attack, your globe won't be as telegraphed as it is at longer ranges, a sort of hidden benefit of this build. As for long-range dunk build, it has literally no benefits over mid-range auto build. A small amount of cooldown reduction based on targets hit for your globe is next to meaningless compared to all the extra damage the auto attack build has. Wrath is clearly the only viable option here, and that's sad. Gluttony needs to be tuned up. Increase the cooldown reduction gained. I'd also increase the range of globe. Since this is clearly the dunk talent, it's okay to give it more range since you won't have that burst potential that Wrath provides. Or maybe a small amount of conditional damage. Hit 2 targets, deal extra X amount. Or, how about this? If you take Gluttony, your Titus Sin has 2 charges. Something, man. Number 2, Art of Chaos at 7. Is a joke, right? That's filler till you come out with the real talent, right, Blizz? In what world do you live in that Art of Chaos competes with Bombardment? Even if you didn't take Wrath, you would take Bombardment. Hell, Master of Destruction actually does something over Art of Chaos. This is a terrible talent that provides 0 use, interactivity, or real benefit for Asmo, and needs to be rethought. Number 3. And while I'm talking about underpowered globe talents, might I direct your attention to Total Annihilation? This is a level 16 talent, which used to mean something in this game. 3% max health on targets hit by globe is a tragedy. It's a 10-second cooldown that you have made more difficult to land, and for reaching level 16 and doing so, here's an extra 3% health damage for your troubles, kid. Was 5% so much to ask? It is a level 16, you know. Think about it, Blizz. Number 4. Why are you making globe so easy to avoid? On live, there was a talent that every dunk Modan would take. It increases globe cast time and travel speed by 40%, a huge amount that you really feel. It becomes a delight to land dunks at 7 on live. So instead, Blizzard nerfs the range on globe baseline, bakes in a small amount of cast speed, telegraphs where it's going to land, and leaves the travel speed the same abysmal amount it is on live, with 0 way to talent it up. Hell, why isn't Art of Chaos the dunk talent? Might let it compete with Bombardment. Here's what you do, Blizz. Bake in a small amount of travel speed like you did with the cast speed with Globe, then Turn Art of Chaos into a nerfed version of his live level 7, where you get the rest of the cast and travel speed you're missing. I say bake a small amount in, so mid-range auto Asmos don't feel so bad not taking it, making it optional but not mandatory like the level 7 was. Balanced. Number 5. Let's talk about General of Hell. Now on live, Azmo has a full powered General of Hell. It's an activatable passive. It doesn't really help in PvP much, but it shines as a pushing ability, giving Azmodan a unique way to create pressure on another lane over time, like other heroes can, say Abathur or Falstad with his flight ability. On the PTS, the General is gutted. It's a 60-second cooldown now, and gives no damage or to minions baseline. If you want that, you have to talent it at 13. This didn't seem like overkill. One nerf wasn't enough. Revert one of the nerfs. You can't just increase the cooldown, then offer a talent that lets you reduce it based off autos. You make that shit baseline. You increase the cooldown, and baseline implement the ability to lower it based on autos, even if it's less than the talent provides. Because that's just egregious. General is so bad now at level 1. Understand, I bring this up because this is exactly what the rework was supposed to fix. You took Taste for Blood and made it baseline to improve Azmodan's power outside talents, which makes him better. Then you take his passive and make the same mistakes you're trying to fix. Talents are supposed to improve a hero's kit, not take something from dumpster tier to viability. Live Globe is awful without talents, and you're fixing that with this rework. The new General is awful without talents. Do you understand? That's asinine. Let's talk Azmodan's survivability. Number 6. Live Azmo has options on how to stay alive. He even has 10% more health on live. 6,004 versus 5,404 on the PTS. At levels 20. He has a talent that lets him leech damage done by his laser, and a hefty amount too, giving him a shot at surviving in some 1v1 encounters, even if you didn't take any other laser talents. You could also take something called Sid for Sin, which gave him a nice boost in HP at a crucial moment, while dealing a little damage and slowing a single target. At level 20, if needed, he could take Bolt of the Storm and get the fuck out of a hot spot and reposition in a fight. And there was some totem thing he could summon that heals him that no one ever took. On the PTS, he has Trample. Does some damage and slows target's hit. But it's a small dash, and that's it. Well, that's not true. He does have Sedea's Kiss, which heals for 5% of his maximum nerfed health on a condition that he fully channels his All Shall Burn. See my point? You're taking away options that helped him survive and nerfing his HP. This is the General of Hell discussion all over again. You don't need 2 nerfs to fix one problem. His survive talents are gone. Leave his HP alone. If you buff Sedea's Kiss and add some other regen talents elsewhere like level 4, then you can nerf his HP. Stop overcorrecting here. Number 7, which brings me to Tide of Sin. On live it's called Blackpool. It has 2 charges, a 20-second cooldown, it lasts for 5 seconds, and increases Azmo's damage done by 75%, and increases allied minion damage by that amount as well, so long as you stay in the pool. On the PTS, you click a button once every 30 seconds and your globe does 50% more damage. Wow. Leave it to Blizzard to nerf something right into the ground, huh? Just bring back Blackpool. It's as simple as that. It is more interesting of an ability than Tide of Sin. If you must, leave it at the 50% value instead of 75, but just bring back Blackpool. This is so stupid. You understand, Blackpool forced a player to make decisions. It had good gameplay. I can use 1 charge now, maybe, and I think it'll be back up before I need it again. Or look, Azmo wants to 1v1 someone and he's standing in his pool. Maybe lay your AoE there to try and force him out. That is interesting, and it has counterplay. Tide is not interesting. You click a button and forget it for 30 seconds. You can barely even tell Azmo is empowered for his next globe. This is horrendous, and other than the travel time and telegraph nerfs, might be the most offensive to Azmo players. What a slap in the face. Is this even an ult anymore? Number 8. And really my last point is to talk about Pride. A late game conditional talent in the same vein as Nazebo, but unlike his, Asmos is garbage. 15% radius on an ability that is really easy to dodge at long range is a joke, and a bad one. And 100 globe damage, 150 with Tide of Sin. Well, slap my tits and call me a lady. Nazebo does 360 damage to targets hit with anything he does, and the added functionality that now affects heroes. That's 360 damage to heroes minimum he wasn't doing before from any of his hits. And tragically, Pride is the best option at 20. Unless you need the movement from Trapple, it doesn't feel good. And that is the question you should have made players testing these changes answer. Throwing a pitifully maxed ranged globe on the PTS and watching the slowest and worst player on the enemy team simply amble out of it does not feel good. Forget hitting the Genjis and Tracers of the world. That's a distant memory. But if they lag out and get hit by your globe miraculously, it'll do that extra 100 damage you've always wanted from a level 20. That's depressing. This is all I really have to say. I do love Asmo. I just want what's best for him. It just feels like in trying to balance out the buffs they're handing him, they've made some seriously erroneous decisions on where to cut that power. This really feels like a deal with the devil. Stacking is easier, and we get more power than Sieging Wrath. But this cost is fucking steep. I hope the community is heard on this. You don't have to agree with all my points, and maybe I'm wrong on some of them. But I'm not the only one who feels like this is just wrong. And to absolutely make a pun here, Blizzard dropped the ball on this Asmo rework. Thank you for listening, guys. Take care.